my God. Hi, Sid.
Would you like to introduce us?
No.
You don't have a choice.
No. I thought we should stop doing intros. That's what I was like thinking. We should just be one of those like cool podcasts that doesn't do the introduction. It's like we just talk in and then like they're just listening.
That's if you have like 200,000 people, not two.
Oh. Yeah, but see, maybe there's a reason they have 200,000 people. And it's because they don't do an intro.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
But then they're not going to know what it's about other than the title of the thing.
If they found this and they don't know what it's about, then
you don't even say who you are. Like Joe Rogan, I don't know how his starts. Does he come on and say, "Hey, I'm Joe Rogan. Welcome to my podcast"?
Who even is he?
What do you mean?
See, I don't. Well, one, I've never watched this podcast.
Okay,
really,
so
but who
where'd
even
he come
is
from?
he? Like,
okay,
who is
so
he?
He was a martial artist.
Oh.
So that's what he did. And then the other thing he did, he did Fear Factor. He was the host of Fear Factor. Someone replaced him like when they had a reboot, but like the original Fear Factor, he was the host. He did that because he was announcing UFC. And they're like, he's a good announcer. Let's have him as a host for a show. Oh. So that's all we did. And then he was being interviewed by somebody who's doing a podcast. He goes, a what? A podcast? This is like when they were brand new.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, I need to get in on this. And it's a famous clip. He said, there's money to be made in this, man. He's like,
now everybody has a podcast.
He's like, how do you do this? And this is like,
well, let me tell you,
15 years ago or something.
There's money to be made because I got an email the other day saying that we're getting a payout of $1.26 for our views.
I thought it was $1.34.
That was the first one. Oh! Now it's gone down to $1.26. Hello and welcome to the Disc Dog Pod. This is our last episode of the year. So we'll be back in 2026 with more. But I think this episode we are going to do a little bit of reflecting on all the crazy crap that happened in 2025 and celebrate with wine.
Yeah, that's right. So would you like to begin?
No, I already did enough talking, so it's your turn.
Okay, well, I want to talk about my dog's accomplishments first. Is that okay?
Braggy McBraggerston.
Well, I got a couple great reasons to brag, and I'll just do it because the doggies are awesome.
Going.
First one I'll touch on is Bon Bon. Her big thing this year, she won her 4th Microdog Open.
I don't think we have time to listen to all of Bon Bon's accomplishments, to be honest. The podcast will be too long.
It was awesome because no dogs won more than 3. Al with George and Augie with Tim were the other ones that had 3. And now Bon Bon's got 4, so that's her big accomplishment. And then the other one is she won the UFO Throw Catch Championship.
Against the big dogs. That wasn't even a little dog division.
Yes.
I think that's the first time a micro dog has won an open toss and fetch. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, but I think she's the first one.
I'm nearly certain. I tried to look back.
The only one I can think is Augie didn't win.
No, never won that.
He didn't win pairs? DA?
I don't think so.
I don't think he did. I know he was on the podium, I'm pretty sure.
And Key was on the podium
Key
a bunch
was
of
on
times
the podium too.
For different
and Key never won him.
Never won
fetch for big dogs.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was it's super exciting. I'm so proud of her just to see a dog that's 14 and a half or 14 and 3/4 inches tall go out there against the big dogs, running so fast, being able to do that was really special. And in the bad conditions, I think it's even tougher for her just because
it was rainy.
It was rainy and muddy and everything like that. So
the conditions were awful.
She was completely covered with mud underneath. It was crazy.
Yeah. So instead of being brown and white, she was just brown.
Yeah. But yeah, she won that, and just super proud of that. And the other big accomplishment this year is Cheeky. She won her first world championship in Micro Dog Bullseye.
And you were not expecting to win anything this year with her.
No, she's a baby, and I was just training going into the finals, still just training with her. And she qualified the Friday before, and I was training. I actually made her go back and get a couple discs. And for anyone who's not familiar with bullseye, it is you stand in the middle of the bullseye and you're throwing to the rings on the outside, and you get up to 4 points depending on how far it is and if they jump or not. So if she didn't bring the disc back, I made her go get it. It actually turned out to be a mess in a way because the discs were similar to in color to the cones.
Yeah, because they usually use the blue cones, right?
No, it was
Or
orange
cones.
But then I'm using it's pinkish.
Pink or something. Yeah, close enough.
So
but they're small and round, so they check them.
Everything was like pretty much the same. So she was running over looking at those. After a couple times doing that, I boarded admission, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna make her do that, but I didn't have to either. She kept bringing them back. And then on Saturday, I finally decided, okay, I'm going to unleash the beast, and this is the first time ever in a competition I just got very serious with her, and it was see what she does.
Yeah.
And she got 61 points, which is insane.
That's good. That's better than any of my dogs ever did.
I've never had a 61. I've had a few 60s, which
you've never had a 61?
Never had a 61.
Really?
Nope.
I don't know
60s, lots of 60s.
62 with Muse so far.
Lots of 60s.
You didn't get 61?
Every time that I've had the opportunity for more than 60 points, it was like a miss on one of them. Something happened.
Yeah.
So I've had a few opportunities for it, but she actually did it. And she's also, I think that was the maybe second highest score in history in the microdogs.
Nice.
So that was our great accomplishments for this year. Super proud of the doggies and can't wait to see what Chiqui's going to do. And with Bon Bon, it's just like whatever. At this point, she's just done so much. It's like,
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Sora too.
And how did her year go?
Her year was really good, actually. I think like I was kind of thinking about it looking back. Well, okay, so technically the first year that she played, she won the most world championships she's won in a year, I think. And that was because she basically swept the UFO. So she got 4 just out of that event, and then, or 3 out of that event, and then she won the Skyhound CA. That was in 2019. But this year, I don't know. I would kind of consider it maybe her best sweep of finals ever. So she won the Skyhounds Open overall, which was something that has been killing me to try to win with her because I've been on the podium so many times and like always in second place.
Yeah.
It's not that you're ungrateful, but after you have it a few times and it's like several years in a row that you're second, you're just like, okay, can we move up one spot?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That, we're not saying, oh boy, we only got second place or third place at the World Championships. It's that repeating
it's the repeating
again and again and again and again.
Exactly.
Kind of
So it was kind of like, oh my gosh, we can't get second again. Like, I'll take third, just don't no second. I'll take fourth, just as long as it's not second. So we finally cinched the deal. And we did it with freestyle, which was really cool because our toss and fetch was good, but usually it's the best toss and fetch of the round, round of the day that ends up winning. And this time she didn't have the highest toss and fetch round of the day. It was up there. It was one of the highest.
I think
freestyle was killer.
I would say about the toss and fetch in particular this year is that there were a lot of good scores. There was very little wind the entire competition. I mean,
the conditions were great.
Great conditions.
But what was crazy is I felt like there were a lot of 20s, like 22 to 19, like, between 19 and 22, there was a lot of those, but nobody went out and like threw down a 25 plus, which usually that's kind of what happens is, well, not always, but a lot of times somebody goes out and throws like a killer round. Like last year, Matt threw down and he kind of just swept everybody because everybody else had like 20, 21. Right. And it's usually the one that goes out there and throws, just the extra couple points higher and they run with it typically. Right. So this year.
And typically somebody, if you're good at the Skyhounds DA, there's actually a good chance you're also, if you're in freestyle, that you're also good in freestyle because you have to be really good at throwing in order to
I think a lot of people that go to Skyhounds have the expectation that, okay, if I could do the toss and fetch, I better kind of fix up my freestyle.
Exactly.
Plus, it's only 90 seconds. So I think a lot of people have a solid 90 seconds. Yep. Adding that extra 30 seconds, kind of people put their maybe more risky stuff in there because they're like, okay, I got to fill the time. But I think most people have a solid 90 second. So, so that was one of Sora's accomplishments. She's another one that it's probably too long for the podcast to go over all her accomplishments, kind of like Bon Bon. So she also won the UFO World Cup Series, the overall and the freestyle with a a dropless freestyle. Both the freestyles she won was dropless. So Sora she was just kind of on this year. We had more dropless freestyle rounds this year than any other year. And I'm not sure why that is. I think maybe I just prepared the routine a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit less risky stuff. I mean, there's some years where I was doing some pretty crazy timing stuff with her that didn't always hit, or it was like it could be just a little bit off and then it wouldn't be caught. But either way, I mean, her routine was great this year, and she had dropless after dropless, it seemed like. And yeah, so she won the UFO too, and it was a tough competition. So really cool. A lot of good teams at both events. So yeah, it's an honor to win both of those.
And D2, our club disc dogs in Southern California swept the entire UFO competition.
They did. Yeah,
which we did before too. We've done that more than once, a few times.
Yeah. So speaking of UFO finals, I'll talk about Link next. His big win this year was won the California State Championship, which was a UFO event, which was kind of a shock that he beat like Sora and Bon Bon. He just had like a really spectacular day and just came out and crushed it. And I think Sora and Bon Bon were not like, they didn't play their best like their usual. Yeah. So Link kind of just stole it while everybody else was napping, sort of thing. But then his other big win was the UFO Detour, and he won the women's division. And so that was really cool. And so like you said, SoCal swept because Sora won overall freestyle, Bon Bon won the toss and fetch, Ranger won the men's pro with Paul,
right,
and then Link won the women's.
Yeah.
So
congratulations to everyone, our club.
I know, our club was awesome. Rocking it, and we're not used to that kind of muddy,
I know,
rainy sort of weather, so it was kind of surprising. But what was so funny is like, I feel like this year we were somehow more prepared for rain because two of our events, like I swear, in 10 years, has it rained at a D2 event?
Not even a sprinkle.
Not even a little bit. Like hardly a cloud in the sky.
And it doesn't matter when we have our events because we have them in December and when we normally would kind of get some rain.
Yeah.
But we've
had them in March, April. Usually March, April is like the rain.
Wasn't it April when it
rained? Yeah, it was April and May.
Yeah, and we
had two events this year.
And we usually hardly
where it rained.
By then, like, there's really no rain here. For people who aren't familiar with
usually not May.
Definitely not.
Maybe March, maybe April.
Yeah, usually it's real light. Like we got dumped on.
There was one day that it was just pouring for hours.
So for most people who
don't
understand, like our weather is very strange. For me, it was so unusual when I moved to California.
He's from Pennsylvania, so when he moved here, he didn't know. I don't know any different.
So in the summer, we don't get rain. It does not rain. Never in July, August, never get any rain.
I think last year it rained one day. We got like a tropical thunderstorm.
Oh.
It rained while we were gone.
That's when the hurricane came through last year, wasn't it?
Yes, the hurricane.
So it's it's different. So we have the what is it called, Mediterranean climate, but we get rain in the winter basically and not in the summer.
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Very, very unusual.
Yeah. So anyway, that was Link. He did great. And then Flair, she had quite a year herself. So she won the AWI small dog again. And then that was the third time she's won that. And she won the Disc Dogathon Microdog Freestyle, which that's the fourth time in a row that she's won that. So she's up in the 4-time in a row. Well, yours isn't in a row, but 4-time win on one particular event. So that's pretty cool. So No Dog's done that. And she also won the Pure and Incredible Dog Challenge, which was quite the surprise since we showed up on Friday and tried out and then managed to qualify, and she nailed it the next day. And honestly, that's kind of Flair's deal because there's no toss and fetch, just the bonus catches. And she's pretty good at those because the wall stops her from doing her wild and crazy thing that she likes to do in toss and fetch. And she nailed it. And you know what? And she's perfect for TV. I mean, honestly, she's so cute. She's so cute.
I forgot to mention Bon Bon won the Western Regional Incredible Dog Challenge.
You did forget to mention that. That's kind of a big one.
So I was super proud about that as well. I hadn't done the IDC in a number of years, and Bon Bon's never done it. So that was super exciting when we got invited. I figured I have to at least try. Yeah. So I'm super happy she was able to win that one, and kind of a shocker to me. And at that point in time, I stopped thinking that she can't compete against the big dogs.
Yeah.
You know? So even with the UFO win, I was not really that surprised because I knew now. It's like Bon Bon is just a competitor.
Yeah.
She can do it.
Well, I knew like at UFO toss and fetch. I mean, there's a lot of good toss and fetch teams, but I was like, geez, this is like really stacked. And I was like, oh man, Jeff's probably going to nail a Bon Bon.
You know, one thing I felt a little bit more comfortable with it is that in the conditions, I thought I would do a little better than most people because I don't know, I do prepare really well for crazy stuff. We don't see much rain.
Yeah.
But I was totally ready for it. I was absolutely ready for it. I adjusted. It's so tough to do with those little discs, though.
Those are awful.
But yeah,
they're awful to throw when wet.
They are. It's because if you grip, you have to grip a little tighter when it's wet, right? But if you do that just too much on one of the small discs, you are shanking it badly.
You know, I think a lot of the time, and this goes for like a lot of like weather conditions, slobber, that kind of stuff, anything like affecting the disc like that. I think sometimes we overthink it and it gets more in our head than it actually affects the disc. Like I've talked to people about this and they're like, they've said stuff like they're really worried about the wet disc, like either because of slobber or rain or whatever. And I don't know. I just kind of think that we overthink it. Well, a lot of people overthink it.
I think the big discs have very little impact to me. But the little discs, I really struggle when they get wet.
I will say, when Flair hands me the disc and it's right at the slobber spot, I struggle a little more. So
if you notice, in my last round, it was pouring down during my round.
Yeah.
I was throwing as hard as I possibly could, and two of them were just short, if you remember, of the the bonus area.
Yeah.
And I was throwing as hard as I could, and I'm still not able to do it. And I feel it slipping out of my hand. They're also going slightly left, which is a sign they're slipping out of my hand. But she was getting catches, and we weren't having misses and things like that.
I know. So I was watching and counting because I was like, so my first round wasn't very good. I got like a 14. Like it was okay, but not for Sora. That's not a great round. With Flair, I would be jumping up and down, like freaking out if I had a 14. But with Sora, 14 is just not really her type of top round. But I was counting because I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could come back from this, depending on like, if you kept throwing short. I mean, if you would have thrown one more short, you wouldn't have won.
Would I have even been on the podium?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard.
I know that
we were only a point. We were a point off.
I was third with Sora, but second and third were tied. I lost the tiebreaker.
So I would have been in third.
And I was 1 point. I was 1 point behind you.
Right.
So, yeah.
So we would have tied with Cheeky then, because Cheeky, I think, was 1 point behind that.
Oh, was Cheeky fourth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had a 19 in her last round.
I know. She moved
14
up.
13 in the first round. 13 in the first? I can't remember now. But
well, it had to have been because I was 14 and then I had an 18 with Sora.
So she was probably 12, maybe 12 and 19.
Your first round with Cheeky wasn't so good. She had two misses.
Two misses. But I hit the zone and all the others, so it was a 12.
Oh, okay. Yep. That makes sense.
And a 19, so she was 1 point behind.
Yeah.
That
was a good comeback. Sora and Cheeky were the comeback queens at the UFO.
Yeah, Sora was close. I mean, I'm watching it because...
Well, I mean, if Sora would have caught the one in the first round, she would have won. Well, that's how close it was.
Just like Cheeky, she had two misses in the first round.
Well, she would have caught those, yeah. Oh, yeah, if she would have caught either of them, she would have won. Well, that's the thing with the UFO.
Should have, would have, could have, right?
Well, you could say that about it. Yep. Everybody was one catch away from winning. I mean, Sora was one catch away from winning the Sky on ZA this year. How many events has like somebody been one catch away? I mean, everybody's one catch away from a world championship, right? That's just, I mean... that's just how the game goes. But I feel like it was really close this year because it was split in half because one day was canceled. So I think that you may have seen more separation if we had all 4 rounds of toss and fetch. Because I think if there was a second day, you probably could have thrown another like killer round with Bon Bon and you could have been running away with it.
Well,
I could have.
Right. That's what we.
You know what I mean? Like you don't know, but
so something I wanted to say about
never will be known.
So how close scores can be. When I really used to look at freestyle scores and just try and evaluate how I was doing. First time I went to USDDN championships, 2008, Enzo had a miss where I always would work my way close to the judges, and I did this move I'm sure you remember that he would jump over my back, I'd roll, he'd go under. It was really
I
cool,
remember.
crazy.
The audience may not remember,
right?
But you
could
go on his YouTube channel and find it for our Aussies.
Right. So it was
a couple 2007 videos, 2008 videos.
So it was more or less a guaranteed catch. We never missed it. But in this particular case, there was a cameraman that was like closer onto the field. I didn't even notice him. And when I threw it, it went right in front of the cameraman, and Enzo saw him and just stopped. And Enzo doesn't normally do that. I think he was like, what is this? He didn't even go for it. So I just went back and calculated. If he had caught that, just that one throw,
just the execution score,
not even to mention how cool the trick is and how that could bump other things up, that would have taken him from 7th place to either 3rd or 4th place just from catch ratio. I mean, it was really insane. Crazy. It was that really taught me a lot about these scores. That one little blip.
Well, and the thing is that's a score that you could just mathematically calculate. Yep. And so, like, think about freestyle. Well, all the other organizations don't have any of, like, they're all subjective in some way. It's not a mathematical exact calculation, even though catch ratio is greatly considered. But so it's kind of interesting, like, you know, if you watch freestyles at other orgs, you would think it'd be kind of the same thing. It could be like one catch.
So I think that's a perfect segue into talking about the judging that we did this year.
Yeah, we both had some big judging jobs, which was not normal for us. We usually don't. Well, at least recently we haven't judged as much. I know you did more judging earlier on, and then I've judged a few events here and there, but this year I judged multiple big events, and you judged a big event as well. So
I was asked to judge the Skyhounds Open Division on the Classic, so basically just Saturday, and it didn't take me very long, and I was excited to accept it because it's a huge honor. And I think that's one of the highest things in the sport is to judge a world championship. It doesn't get much beyond that. And so
I think this was an unusual year for you where you didn't have a dog that was really competitive and open. Right. Because Cheeky's just a puppy. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's just no expectations.
Right. So it was exciting. It was a lot of what I thought it would be, actually, because
you've been to the finals. I mean, you see what they do.
I know what they have to go through. I just didn't experience it myself. I knew it was going to be difficult, and mostly it's physically difficult, mentally difficult. You have to sit there and you're melting in this chair, and you can't take your eyes off the field. It's difficult.
For folks that haven't been to the Skyhounds World Championships, like the Open Division usually has around 100 competitors. So that's 100 freestyles that you've got to watch. And then they have a second round. It's usually the top 20. So, I mean, it's a long day.
Right.
There's youth. You didn't judge the youth, did you?
I only did the Open. Okay. So it could go on and on and on and on. But as a judge, and to be fair, you need to reset yourself every single competitor and not be like, I can't wait to get out of here. There's only 3 left. Great. Those thoughts never crept into my mind. I might have felt, oh wow, this is getting rough. Oh geez, my back's hurting or whatever. But as soon as a competitor came out there, I gave it my all and tried to do everything I possibly could to judge as best as I could. And so, what kind of questions would you have? What are you curious about? Because I'm sure you are.
Oh, I guess okay, if you guys put 2 and 2 together, Sora and I won the event. So I guess for me, what I am curious, based on the scores, so what separated the higher level teams from the lower level teams? Because I think Sora had one of the top freestyle scorers. I think Jeff Sheets was up there. I think Macy had one of the top scores too. There was quite a few people that were up there. But the scores ranged across the board, and of course you got 100 competitors, so you got to use the full scale and all of that. But
absolutely,
what were good things that you looked for, and what set apart some of those top teams, in your opinion?
So the top teams, the first thing would be we weren't seeing anything unsafe. And even though there aren't deductions in Skyhounds called out, the judges are deducting internally, and we would even make mention of it. We wouldn't say something like, oh, we're going to deduct a point. That's what you would do in some of the other organizations.
So what you're saying is, even though there's not a deduction category like the other organizations have, because I think all of the other organizations do have a specific category for deductions. Skyhounds does not have that. So what you're saying is, even though there's no specific deductions category, you may have deducted some points down on the freestyle for things that you thought were unsafe.
Absolutely. And we all had the same reaction. Every time we saw something we didn't like, it was a gasp. And there would just be the comments like, we don't want to see that. That's not what we're here for, that kind of thing. And it was usually all of us at the same time, and we're all on the same page. We didn't discuss any of this stuff after the round.
Well, that's actually good to know, because I think people maybe they don't realize that, right? Like, because there is no deductions column basically calling it out.
Right. So some people were absolutely deducted if there was a bad landing on a vault or a flip or an attempted dog catch that resulted in everyone crumbling to the ground. I'm
glad Link didn't knock me on my ass this time.
I would say one of the other things similar would be something like the drop downs. That's become very
it's very trendy right now.
It's trendy, and it's also polarizing. You either like them or hate them, type of thing. And there's two issues with it. Sometimes they look unsafe, and maybe people don't realize it, but a lot of times you see the dog's head whipping around when the dog's kind of being twisted and things like that. The other thing, you're not going to get any points for it anyways, because
not at Skyhounds. It doesn't involve a disc.
There's no disc.
The disc has to be in flight for it to really count for anything. And while people do a lot of tricks, or like a lot of tricks without the disc, those aren't counted in the score, and that's in the rule set.
Absolutely, that is called out, and that leads into the next part of what we were looking for, which is success, which means a lot of difficulty with great execution. So you're getting a lot of catches, and related to that, a lot of throws. And another thing related to it, not much dancing around the field, not throwing. There was so much of this where people were going out there, they're pointing at their dog and walking in a circle. All of us are groaning. Listen, get on with the show. We want to see throws. That's all that matters.
I mean, it goes right back to the rule, though.
Yes,
right?
It does. And I think another rule that they implemented in the last few years is they have effectively gotten rid of the pre-routines, because you have to get out there within a certain amount of time and start.
And they don't really judge them anyway.
And they don't judge them anyway. So if
they just want to get the event done.
For competitors, that should be a huge red flag to you. Or it should just be horns blaring. Wait a second. They don't want to see pre-routines. Well, I don't want to see a pre-routine in the middle of your routine either. So it doesn't mean you can't do a quick little setup thing with a cool move. That's great, and we love that. It should take a half a second or a second, and I'm not joking when I say that. It should take about 1 second for you to do a cool thing. Maybe a dog jumps over your back, boom, you go do a flip. That takes almost no time, and it's a great setup, and I count that as part of the move. But when you're going back and forth, and it's one,
I think it has to be related, right?
It has to be related, yeah, not just a dance. If you're out there, you just start doing weaves, chances are you're not getting scored for that, because you're just dancing. It's not doing anything. Someone does 5 or 6 weaves and it takes 5 seconds.
Right. I think an example that a lot of people have talked about before is like the arm overs. They're not as popular now. It was trendy maybe 4 or 5 years ago. People were sitting out there doing a lot of arm overs, and they were maybe doing 2 or 3 sets of them with no disc in flight. And so, like half the people were doing it and loved it, and it's great, and it's a really cool trick. And then the other half of the people were like, oh my gosh, it's just, it's too much and there's no disc.
Yes.
And so just an example of how I played off of that, not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just giving an example. But with Flair, I do an arm over on one side as a setup to do the arm over on the other side, but I throw the disc on the second one. So it's sort of a setup. So it is a trick without the disc, but it leads into the trick with the disc.
Right.
So, but the idea was sort of to play on something that is kind of a dog dance move without the disc, but then incorporate the disc, even though I set it up without the disc. But the disc eventually is included, and it doesn't take very long.
Whenever I was teaching a lot, let's say 10, 15 years ago, that's when arm overs, it was all the rage.
It was really popular.
And people were doing it in my class. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they would do it, they asked me how I think about it. I said, well, I would score that 0 points. And, well, why? You didn't throw a disc? So I said, every other one, throw a disc. Oh.
And I've seen people, I saw Ahan do it with a disc involved, and he set up with kind of like what I do with Flair. I think he may have done 2 sets, but either way, but it led in nicely with a disc trick.
Right.
And I liked it.
Right. And I had always had that.
He was the one that made it popular.
I always had the opinion at that time that dancey kind of stuff too, just this is about throwing discs. It just comes down to that. We're throwing discs. If you want to do doggy dancing, There's a lot of other places you could do that, but to be honest with you, this is disc dogging. It's not disc dancing. It's not dog dancing. It's disc dogging. So that was a huge thing. I know a lot of people.
I tend to like a little bit more dog. I like a little more dance than you, but maybe it's just me being, a girl, a showy girl.
Well, I used to.
I like a little bit. I do like a little bit, but I do agree with what you're saying. Of it at the core, the sport is disc dogging. It's not dog dance. And there is, places, organizations you can compete in dog dance. Not so much in the U.S., which is kind of disappointing. I mean, it'd be nice. I don't know why we don't have so much of it here. It'd be kind of cool to get it here. So somebody start that up. I know there's maybe some people doing that. But
I went to a class for it before.
I did too, actually. So, it was kind of fun. But anyway, that was a side tangent.
I stopped doing pre-routines and all that stuff early on. I did do them for a long time. And then maybe, again, about 10, 15 years ago, before Skyhounds made their rule, I just got rid of them. I'm like, when I'm judging, I don't want to see them. Most of the judges are like, let's get on with the show. They're just sitting there and they need to get through all these teams.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I just got rid of them out of my own routines.
If it's something really cool that sets up into your first disc trick, go for it.
Of course.
Right? Like, but if it's just, unless you're brand new, like I wouldn't do leg weaves for, 10 seconds and then toss the disc,
of
right?
Course.
Now, if it's your first routine, that's a whole different thing. But
absolutely.
I'm talking if you're getting to the more advanced levels and trying to, rank higher type thing.
Yes. And I've always, just told people that just remember the disc is king. No matter what you're doing, the disc is king. And try to relate everything to that one way or the other.
Actually, yeah, get it right. Flair's king.
So the other thing I'd say about the Skyhounds judging, I'd like to add is that you found, and this is related, some of the competitors had the best routines, had 20 plus throws, and then some of the other really good competitors, there were ones that only had 10, 12 throws, and the whole time we're just like, get the disc out of your hand. What are you doing? Like, we want to see more. We're rooting for you as the judges.
And you only have 90 seconds, so there's very little time. To me, 90 seconds goes by really fast.
Right.
You have very little time to show what you got.
And I promise you.
So you got to go. Like, you got to do it.
If you get your score and you have a low score, a judge didn't want to give you that. I promise you. It hurt me sometimes. Some of these scores I put down, I'm thinking, I don't want to do this, but I have to do what I think is right. If I saw someone else that came out and they had twice as many throws as you, and there's all great stuff, they did twice as much. If you had 10 and they had 20, they did twice as good. They really did. They had twice as many things. Yeah. And I'm not talking about 20 multiples or things like that.
I think the idea that people go out and just do like 100% backhands and like just multiples, that's pretty rare. I think that actually is rare.
Especially now. I think that kind of stuff used to happen a little bit more in the past. I kind of remember people doing that kind of thing.
I think the sport has kind of advanced that I think a lot of people won't do that, or they won't go out and compete and show it until they've got a little more than that.
And I lied. There was one more thing that I wanted to say about it. It's super important that everyone likes to say Skyhounds equals catch ratio. Absolutely false. The term catch ratio was never mentioned, ever. Not once. The percentages, there were no percentages. No one said this person had 90%, that one had 80%, 70%. It wasn't calculated. A little bit of insider information.
Which is crazy because every competition I've judged gives a percent. I also request it, but they do give a percent.
And there was none. So just keep that in mind when you think about it. Skyhounds is the only organization that does not calculate or not require calculating catch ratio. A lot of people, if you look at their rules, you will not see catch ratio mentioned. You'll never see percentages, nothing like that. How they calculate, nothing. There is no calculation. And if you think about it, if you're there watching, I had wondered about this. The rounds are going by so fast. We have about 5 to 10 seconds to give our score, to be honest with you. There's no time to even calculate it. And it's not because we're rushing our scores. You know where the score is. By the time the round ends with, I'd say 90% of the people, I knew what the score was. As the round's going on, I have the idea of where the score is in my head, and by the time I get to the end, I know exactly where it is. Every once in a while, we would have one where it took maybe 30 seconds or a minute, but that's it, time.
Yeah. I mean, I like that idea of kind of keeping a little bit of a score in your head. Of course, it changes throughout the routine. I mean, if somebody starts out, guns blazing, kicking ass, and then the end of the routine totally falls off, sure, the score might change or it evens out a little bit. Right. But I do like the idea of like sort of keeping the range in your head. Like as they start, you're like, okay, first 30 seconds, you are like, okay, I'm expecting this to be 7 to 8 or, whatever the range is, right? And then, depending on how they continue on, then, okay, well, it's getting better, it's getting worse, or it's staying the same, kind of thing. Like, yeah, I like that idea. I think, that concept helped me when I was judging the Dogtown Cups USDDN event, which I'll talk about in a second. But I wanted to ask you one more question about the Skyhounds thing. And my question is about the difficulty. How was the difficulty evaluated or looked at Skyhounds?
And difficulty was primarily in the success and wow factor categories. That is where that shows up. And a little bit more in the success. But when I'm talking about success, that is the most important category that applies to everything. And as a matter of fact, Peter even told me that the day I went into judge, he said success impacts every category and is the most important thing. I'll be honest,
I think that's pretty much most of the competitions, right? I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of the times.
Absolutely. So,
nobody wins with a bad day, right? I mean, you got to nail it.
Just because you have a great catch ratio, even though we weren't talking about catch ratio, that didn't
no, but success. I mean, if you have a good catch ratio, that likely means that the success is good.
That's going to bring your success level up, and then the more difficulty you have, that's going to bring it up as well. And difficulty is not just in throwing, but that is, to be honest with you, the majority of it. In the wow factor category that I did, there was a little bit more related to human difficulty, like doing tricks with the dogs, maybe where you have a dancey kind of thing, but you incorporated a throw. Then that brings up your wow factor. You do like a really cool, like a dog catch where the dog does a leg vault, and then you spin and you catch the dog. That puts the difficulty and success, wow factor and success, both go through the roof for a move like that.
Right.
So that it's really king. The success it just takes you to like a different level with the difficulty. That's what is needed to really push it up there.
Well, I think if you look at the top teams, I mean, nobody went out there and did all backhands, right? I mean,
no. And the other thing I want to say real quick is thanks to Skyhounds for allowing me to do it and trusting me with scoring. And the judges were great. Ray, Mark, and Jackie. Just a phenomenal judging crew. We got along so well. We the little amount of time we were able to talk to each other between rounds or whatever, it was very productive.
What do you guys mean? You didn't get to know each other that whole day? You were sitting next to each other?
And Ray was the head judge, and he's been for a very long time at Skyhounds, and I see why now. Especially.
That's a hard job.
He is absolutely, hands down, the best head judge I've ever been on a crew with, and I've been a head judge many times. He's way better than me. So I give him props, and maybe one day, once I've done it for 40 years, I'll say the same thing about myself, but they were great. So, but that leads right into your Dogtown and other judging that you did this year.
Yeah. So earlier in the year, I judged the KDDN event, which is the Korean USDDN qualifier event. It's a big event. I was at DeForest, which I love DeForest. That was really, really cool facility. If you ever get a chance to go to South Korea, you've got to visit DeForest. It's like it's Doggy Disneyland. It really is truly Doggy Disneyland. It's so cool.
I want to visit all the tofu soup places.
Do they have tofu soup places in Korea? That's
Korea. That's the biggest thing.
Okay, well, I don't think I had that, but I had other Korean food, which was fab. I did talk a little bit about that event in many episodes back. So if you're not an avid watcher, you need to become one and join the rest of our subscribers, which, by the way, now I gotta put that like blaring horns sound in and edit that in. No, the one that they always use in the rap songs.
Yeah.
So God, I sound like such an old lady. The one they use in all the rap songs.
Oh, you mean the one that goes
No. We have 100 subscribers now. Woo! Okay, that's a really small percentage of the disc dogging community.
Bon even loves it.
Well, it's a great milestone. If you guys enjoy our podcast, be sure to share it with your friends. We're all excited, so the dogs are all excited. Yeah. They're coming over to celebrate. Here, Punky, would you like a bit of
You want to share?
He's like, no, ma'am. He's like, I would prefer if you just pet me. But anyway, so we have reached 100 subscribers at the time of recording this. I think that our 100th subscriber was Swanee, which is great.
That's
so
great.
Swanee, we love Swanee.
If you've ever been to Skyhounds or haven't been or don't know it real well, he is their main announcer.
He's been playing forever. He is so funny, man. He is such a personality.
He's from Washington, and I mean, we've known him for a very long time.
He's competed a long time.
I love that guy.
He's a really, really great guy. But anyway, so thanks, Swanee, for subscribing, and the other 99 people, which I think 2 of them are us, so the other 97. Anyway, so share with your friends if we can grow the podcast. I know disc dogging is already a small niche group, and we're not really doing this for the $1.26 a month that we make. We're actually in the red, but anyway, this isn't really a business. We're just doing it for fun. So and really the love of the sport, and trying to just share. And I feel like sometimes we're a little bit on our island in California because it's so far to get here for most people. They're going to be driving 16 hours plus unless you're from Vegas or Arizona, and or you have to take an international flight to get here. So it's we don't really get to hang out with everybody all the time. So this is also part of our way of sharing the love of the sport, even though we can't sit down with you and hang out after competition over a glass of wine.
And the more you can interact with us about the podcast, the better. If you can send us comments or anything, it helps us, because we just want to know what you want to see or what you like, or any suggestions.
Or chat with us. I mean, I think it's interesting to know like other people's strategies or how you look at things, or like I said, everybody has like a different pair of glasses that they look at the sport through.
Pumpy, he's being bad boy.
Punky's getting into trouble over there. Oh, now he's got a toy. He's being a good boy. You called him, so he's being a good boy now. But anyway, so back to what I was talking about before. So KDDN I judged earlier this year, but I think the one that I wanted to talk about more is the Dogtown Cups event in Japan, because I haven't talked about that yet in the pod. So I was invited to the Dogtown Cups Invitational event, where it's kind of like IDC-ish, where they invite maybe like less than 10 people, and it's kind of a showcase of the best players. And so I was invited for a second time with Sora. So thank you so much to Yachi Harai and the Harai family for having me, and huge thank you to Mona for all the arrangements that she did. It's not the easiest task to get a dog into Japan because they have so many rules about it, and Mona is just so smart and phenomenal and made everything just smooth sailing. But anyway, so I got to take Sora back to her home country, Japan. She's, fun fact, born in Japan.
That's the other thing. Judges traveling from far away and stuff, it's difficult. It's difficult on the judges. It's difficult on the people organizing it.
Oh yeah, I was
appreciate
trying not to fall asleep. Even though I had jet lag.
Make sure you thank your judges. I always try to do that as
even
best
if
as
you
I can.
don't love the scores that they gave.
Right. So you could send a message afterwards. You could just say thanks.
They usually don't mean it out of spite.
Yeah,
they usually aren't scoring you out of spite. It's probably something that they saw.
Well, that's what I was saying when we were judging and I had to give a low score. I really didn't want to. Judges don't want to give low scores.
No.
I wanted to give everybody 9s. That would have been great. If everyone was that good, I mean, that would be the competition. We have 100 competitors and they all get 9s.
God, that's some of what I felt at the dog. There was a lot of really, really good freestyle. Holy smokes, man. I mean, I will tell you that.
Like this is a 9 or 10 right now. This is really good right now.
Yes, and that's a Parish Sauv Blanc, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my wine friends out there, Parish Sauv Blanc. Parish wines are great.
Yes.
We're a little bit Paso Robles snobs because, we're from California, so we're kind of California wine snobs. Sorry. Side tangent. Anyway, so if we'd all just let me get back to talking about my event that I judge. No. So anyway, besides the invitational that Sora and I were invited to, there's the main Dogtown Cups event, which has a lot of people. I think there was 90-something competitors, including the small dogs. I think there was 80-something in the big dog division, and then they also had a small dog division. They call it Bonsai in USDDN.
Was there a cut? Or do everyone do both?
No,
runs?
sir.
Was it USDDN format? I couldn't remember.
Well, so it's technically JDDN format, which is more or less the same as USDDN, but they allow dogs in heat. They don't penalize so much for going potty on the field. So there's just like a couple minor rule changes, but more or less, I mean, the freestyle judging is basically the same. So I judged that event, and God, I will tell you, the Japanese teams, they are so good at their movement around the field, their movement within the sequences. I mean, if you didn't watch the live stream of the event, I think Dogtown Factory has it on at least the top 15 they live streamed, and there may have been more. I'm not totally sure, but I would definitely check that out if you're interested in watching some really great freestyle and, you know, trying to get some inspiration for your routine over the off season, the winter time, you know, get some inspiration. There were some really, really nice routines in there. And, you know, the Japanese, man, they just move so well and so fluidly. It's just great. So
it's sushi versus hamburgers is the difference.
Probably is. That's just an excuse for me to eat more sushi. Don't even give me more excuses to eat sushi. Because
I don't need more.
I don't need more because I love sushi.
Sushi, ramen, both of us.
Yeah.
If I ever want to bribe one of your judges.
Yeah, if you want to bribe us, okay, you talked a lot about success at Skyhounds. And that was kind of like the difference maker at Dogtown Cups because we had so many really, really high level freestyle teams that was truly the difference maker. And I'm telling you that like first, second, and third, it was the difference of over 2 days having 3 misses between your 2 rounds of freestyle versus having 2 misses versus having 1 miss. Like that was the difference maker. It was crazy. Yumiko and Glico won the event. They were absolutely fantastic. I think she had 1 miss each day. And, you know, Glico's a superstar. Yumiko's super fun to watch. Her throws were perfect. She had a ton of difficulty. And, you know, she just really, really nailed it both days. But you could see, like, the second day I was watching her, I could just, like, feel the nerves from her as she went out on the field. And it was one of those moments that I think you've probably felt this too. I know I've definitely felt this. You know, you go out on the field and you are going into the final round in first place and you're just kind of like trying not to shake because you're like, holy crap, like I have something to lose. When you go into a final round in first place, you've got something to lose. And man, she really held it together. And so that was really fun to see. I do enjoy sitting in the judge's chair and, you know, kind of seeing that. And you really can see the emotions, I think, on people and them trying to hold it together. And I love watching that. And, you know, I've done it for so many years that, God, I've felt all of that, those emotions and stuff. So I know exactly what they're going through and the pressure it takes to nail it. And she really did. I mean, along with a lot of the other players there that were absolutely spectacular. But, you know, it was a cool event. And what I want to say is that I feel, for me, I was really nervous to go into it judging, mostly because I had been there last year and I know how many competitors there are. There's a lot. So it's not like I didn't know what I was in for, but I was really worried because I have only judged a few USDDN events. And for me, I feel that USDDN is harder to judge because of the breakdown of the categories. I have to figure out how to score 4 categories instead of just 1. And when I do that, I'm not so good at math in my head. And the final score doesn't necessarily come out to be what I intend it to be.
And the head judge has to do 7.
Yeah, I know. Well, they originally they said, do you want to be team or K9? I said, you don't want me to be team. I've never judged team at a USDDN event. So I'm like, maybe this shouldn't be the first time I judge team. Because I know that, like, so it was going to get dark early in Japan. Like, I'm like, no, you guys are going to be waiting way too long on me. I should do K9 because that's like K9 or handler I can do with way more ease than team.
You know, something, since we're talking about judging, I guess we're talking about judging right now.
Are you paying attention to the podcast?
USDDN is the one in particular that you almost need to have a real system in place for yourself with judging. You can't just watch it and give a score. Mm-mm. You really got to have some kind of system. And I don't have that system because I have not actually judged USDDN anything ever. and that's a little odd. But
Yeah, I have judged a few events, but I mean, it was maybe like 20 competitors, which is totally different from judging like 80 to 95 competitors all in one day and then do it again next day. So there was no cuts. So it was, everybody got 2 rounds. There's a lot of teams. So, just trying to keep it together and making sure that the scores came out the way that I wanted to, because you really can get lost in those little categories. And then the ultimate score that would come out, may not be what you want. But what I will say is that at this event, they had a system. Each person had either a laptop or a tablet, and you could enter your individual 4 category scores, and it would immediately give you the total. So when the total came out, you could see what it is without having to think or do anything. It was instant. And if you didn't like the total score that came out, you could adjust.
Interesting.
Very, very easily. And also, because there were so many competitors, we had to keep a really tight judging schedule. I had to judge the teams in like 30 seconds. I mean, I didn't have very long to make judging decisions. So that was really like my savior in like being able to judge fast.
Did they ask you when you were done with your score and you entered it, did they do something where they said, okay, take one more look? Is that your final call?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
I worry about that with using a pad or you hit the wrong button or something.
It was just, we looked at each other, ready for the next one. Like that was it. I mean, it was go, go, go. So you had your score. You made your comments if you wanted to make comments. I made comments for every competitor.
I did as well, by the way, for Skyhounds. And I only had one person ask me questions. So when people said they didn't get feedback, nobody asked me but one person, and I gave him a lot of feedback. This was a very young competitor.
Which is great.
Right, it is. And you should, if you want to know, please don't go out and complain. I didn't get feedback. You have to ask for it.
Gotta ask. And I know it's scary to go up to the judge. I promise the judge is just like a normal person.
What was the age range of people competing? Like, was it all over the place, or?
Okay, so I
have weird questions.
I don't think that there was any very, like, there was no children competing. There were people that were much older. There was there was a big age range. I mean, I think between probably, 20s to probably people in their 70s.
Okay.
I mean, there was a huge age range, and there was a good chunk of people that were in the older age range. I mean, it's not like I asked everybody their age after, but curious, what was, it was really impressive actually to me that even people that were kind of in the older age range, they moved really well. And even if they didn't move as much, I don't know, they just moved more fluidly than, a lot of other players in America that I see. Sorry, I'm not trying to just compare like that, but
well, that's what we know.
It's true, though.
That's why I was curious, what kind of breakdown you'd get there versus here, how there's something different. Because there's a lot of younger people that were at ours, but no one, not nobody, but very few at the high end, like people over 60. I mean, of course, there's a few, but there weren't like more than a handful.
Do you know if they're over 60? I mean,
I know the age of pretty much all of the older competitors
in the U.S.
In the U.S., yes.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know the ones in Japan. I mean,
I don't know people's exact age. Obviously, I'm not hunting this information down, but
I
know.
We're gonna hunt it down.
I know right away.
We're gonna do a survey after
roughly where everyone is.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think for me, it was just really inspirational to judge the event because it was so cool to see it was kind of a different style. A lot of the players have a lot of movement. A lot of the players do a lot of long throws. There's a lot of, I felt like there's a lot of moves that, involved like, I felt like they do more different types of flips than we see in the U.S. A lot of the teams do overs, which I feel like is less common in the U.S. I don't think there's that many people that do overs. Maybe they do some leg overs, but there was a lot of people in Japan that have really, really nice overs. So apparently people must have the foundation training there for overs because there was a lot of beautiful overs. I judged the dog category, and for me, in some ways, I feel like that's the easiest or most generous category because, dogs are awesome and I love watching them. And it's a lot of times of course you can only judge what's scored on the field, but sometimes you don't have to score them quite as down. I feel like the dog category doesn't have such a big range, like where the handler category, I feel like you can see a handler that's really, really good and then a handler that has a lot of trouble. Whereas the dogs, I think there's a little bit more of a smaller range because a lot of dogs are usually good, great, or excellent. It's rarely that a dog's like really bad, right?
Well,
I mean, if the dog's bad, it's because they're running off.
At
right?
a high-end competition, world championship, or that level where you were.
Well, this event, they didn't have to qualify to play. So technically anybody could sign up. But
okay.
All the teams were really fabulous. I think we only had one little dog that was sort of like having trouble engaging and was running off and stuff. And there was maybe like a handful of dogs that were a little bit lower drive.
I would
most
say
of the dogs were really fantastic Frisbee-wise.
Same thing.
I mean, they're all fantastic dogs, but Frisbee-wise.
At Skyhounds, you should expect that because they're all teams that qualified. There were probably a couple. I think one had an injury, which we caught in the middle of the round. We stopped the round. There was only maybe a couple the entire competition that we noticed was like, okay, this dog's not really all that into it. One or two. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Right.
But all the other ones were just like 100%.
Yeah.
All out.
That's what I mean. Whereas I feel like the handlers, I mean, you could go from a handler that's, really struggling to throw and doesn't have a lot of disc management to somebody that's just like killing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like there's a bigger range on the handler side than you typically get on the dog side.
There is. And you know what? And it's, of course, up to the handler, but the handler is able to make their dog look a different way or look better or something like
absolutely.
that.
And I think
So
that's the difference between whoever got like 30th place versus who got first, second, third,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, that really is the difference maker.
And that's something I usually tell people is that one thing you'll notice at the World Championships, the teams that win, the top teams, they're all really good throwers, which means they're good handlers. They're able to place the disc properly and things like that.
Right.
It's just across the board.
And I think more and more they're becoming good trainers. And I think when you and I started, we even had our, we just throw the disc. We're not dog trainers. And then it was like, then you showed up with a handoff with me, and I'm like, oh, I gotta become a dog trainer now.
Everything clicked with me one day.
Yeah,
Wait
you
a
finally
second.
realized. Jen told you.
Don't rely on the dog.
Jen was like, maybe you should train the dog.
But it worked because I don't know. I think I became pretty decent at it, so I'm happy with what I've done, and you as well.
I've become a dog trainer, right?
Right.
And the thing is it's funny because I was never a thrower either. Like I was never a disc golf person or just a frisbee person. I was always a disc dogger.
Right.
I mean, did you really play much frisbee?
I never threw a frisbee when I was a kid.
Without a dog, you were always a dog. Just frisbee dog.
Frisbee dog. Nope. Never
and only
else.
Frisbee with the intention of playing with the dog,
Absolutely.
not to just do Frisbee.
Nope,
right.
Never.
I
never owned one as a kid, so I never threw one. I think maybe every once in a while, like
you
a
didn't
neighborhood.
have Frisbee in PE? We had Frisbee in PE.
Nope, we didn't. We absolutely didn't. We had just football, baseball, basketball, hockey, the big sports.
And it was really funny because, I kind of sucked at PE and every other aspect. I was like one of the last ones finishing the mile, but could I throw the disc? Heck yeah.
Yeah, for me, I was always good in all sports. I mean, any sport that I did, I was good at doing it, just to be honest. But that really, it did help me a lot. Even though the motions, I don't know, the forehand throw, there's a lot of other sports that can go with, but backhand, there's not a single thing except for maybe batting. If you know about baseball, if you bat your opposite dominant hand. So if I'm a right-handed batter, if I bat left-handed, then it's like a backhand throw. But other than that, there's basically nothing I can think of in another sport that is like a backhand throw. It's very odd too. It's not like, if you think about the history of humans, when would we have ever needed that motion? That motion doesn't exist.
To slap a bee.
Okay, I got you there.
If you're not behaving, I could just slap you.
You do it all the time, but you don't need to be accurate with it. Whereas throwing, that's absolutely a thing you need to do.
That's right. I don't need to be accurate because your head's so big. I could just hit and I won't miss. Anyway, so yeah, it's funny that looking back, we used to be like, we're not dog trainers. We're just Frisbee throwers to the dogs. And it was just
I've said that.
That's lame.
Not so high pitched, but I've said that before.
You definitely said it that high pitched, but Now we're like disc doggers that actually train dogs.
Yeah,
And now, in some ways, like there's certain ways that we're like just as good of trainers as we are throwers. And I think in this day and age of the sport, you kind of have to be, and it's veering towards that way.
I think for me, here's the thing with the dog training part of it. I don't need to practice that. It's a weird thing.
What do you mean?
You practice your throws, you practice playing with your dog, but you don't practice training your dog. You just do the thing. You kind of
do when you're training your dog. That's practicing the training,
but
right?
Somebody would say that's how they practice their throwing is they play with their dog. That's what I'm saying. The difference is.
I see. You're not going to practice your dog training skill by yourself.
And that is a very different. It's just different. I don't know. I wasn't going anywhere with it, but it's just something to think about. It is different.
That is
different. In all the dog sports, there's very few dog sports where you could do something on your own completely and get a lot out of it, and throwing is one of those things.
You mean I'm not going to go like sniff the barn rat too?
Probably not going to do that.
Not going to do that.
Like agility, there's other than just training your body, just running or something like that, but actually like doing agility,
you could work through the steps, I guess, the footwork.
Sure, you could do the shadow boxing kind of thing, visualizations, but
not as much as like the throwing. I feel like
doing something.
We spend a lot of time,
90% of my time,
throwing without the dog. Like it's a heavy, like if you're trying to rank high in the results, it's a heavy amount of time that you're spending just throwing by yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I wasn't going anywhere with it, just interesting.
No, it is interesting. It is interesting. And yeah, how we've all changed.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any other reflections for the year that you want to talk about?
I've mentioned from time to time retiring from the sport. I have a new I'm reinvigorated, I guess, a little bit with Cheeky, only just because she's so fun to play with. She's so cute. She's just really exciting. But I have a little bit of a different mindset now. I think I really finally understand this sport, every part of it, as far as I can. I think I'm not going to improve with anything in how I understand the sport. I finally figured it out. I figured out where I am in the sport, what I need to do, what I want to do with my dogs, and I'm comfortable with it. And I just got to keep this balance with my age and competing.
And what have you found out?
So
give some more details.
Sure. I mean, basically, don't overdo it. I've always overtrained my whole life in anything I've ever done. I know exactly how far I can take it. I'm actually doing toss and fetch practice more than I did 5 years ago. Even though
with the dogs?
With me.
Oh, by yourself.
By myself. Yeah. I was for years not doing it because I was having physical problems, but I figured out the exact amount of toss and fetch practice I could do, and I've ramped it up. And I'm at the point towards the end of the season, I felt like this is probably the best toss and fetch throwing I have ever had. And particularly at the UFO, with the conditions and everything, I was throwing down the center of the field better than I ever have. I mean, I was just like laser beams, one after the other. And with every round, really, I didn't have a bad throw, not one. I was really happy with it, and it's going to improve. So my toss and fetch is going to get better.
Crap.
Which is
crap. How am I supposed to compete against that?
Good news, right? So I'm really happy about that. I'm comfortable with where I am in freestyle in terms of my throwing, and I just need to lose a little bit more weight. I lost some. I need to lose a little bit more, and I'm content with continuing on and dropping. I don't want to say dropping some organizations, but that's what it comes down to. I can't do as much as I used to. So certain organizations, certain events and things like that, I'm just not going to be able to do anymore. I'd already kind of backed out of the IDC a little bit, but then I got invited. I'm like, Bon's never done it.
The IDC is one of those things that it's kind of like you're one of the few people that gets invited.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to go. I mean, if you get invited, I mean,
so
you're one of the like 6 or 4 actually. Usually they only invite 4.
Right. So I'd stop going to the last chance, the qualifier. If they want to invite me, they can invite me and I'll go. But I'm not going to show up if I'm not invited. And it's nothing against the IDC. I'm just calling that one out because that was the first one. I'm like, okay, I think I got to stop doing something. And that was the first one. And there's more now. I won't specifically say anything exact because if an event, we had the UFO this year. Of course, I'm going to the UFO. It's in my backyard. Basically. I'm going to go to it. So don't, if you see me at the IDC or any other organization, don't be like, you said you weren't going to do this again. It's not really like that.
No, I
It's
think
just,
part
I'm
of it's the
backing out for me.
traveling and
It
the
is.
preparation.
It
Because
is.
I'm totally feeling that, right? Like the last several years, I have basically done everything that I could possibly do. Just like teleport me from one place to another, it seemed like. And it's really tiring. And what's crazy is like, so every final season, I've noticed I go into the season and I'm rocking it. I'm like in shape. My dog's in shape. By the end of the season, we're all tired.
I just want to be in
out
bed.
of shape. We're mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, the whole thing. And it's like, I am totally spreading myself too thin. And what I've seen is it's like, okay, so some of my performances aren't as good because I'm like jump from one event to the next and boom, 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 boom. And it wears on you. And it's really hard to jump from one thing to the next. And none of them are the exact same.
Right. Oh, of
so
course.
You've got to change what you're doing, your mentality, the whole thing. And just the travel alone is exhausting. So I totally get that. And I've always kind of been of the mindset of, you can't experience it or you can't win if you don't show up, or you can't enjoy if you don't show up, if you're not there. I don't know, maybe I just have FOMO, but it's like, okay, I'd rather show up not being my best than to not show up at all.
So for me,
so that's how I've always kind of looked at it. But I'm starting to change a little bit. I mean, I'm, getting older. It's not like I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm old now. So, I don't know. Just, I think about it a little bit differently.
So the other thing, very closely.
But that's what I've been doing. And I also have thought, okay, well, each dog you only get one. Each dog you get is a once in a lifetime dog. The problem is I have, a lot of dogs. So then I want to keep going. But I especially keep thinking, it's like, okay, like Sora is just so talented. It's hard for me to not go, to not take the chance, to not take the opportunity, because it's like, okay, well, I've been through this before. Your dogs don't live forever. They're not going to live as long as you. So I kind of think about it like, in some ways you got to show up.
So the other thing that I guess that I've figured out, and it's very closely related, is how I need to pace myself during the season. And we talked about this. There was another podcast that we did. We talked a little bit about this, but I really feel like I've cemented what I need to do in my disc dogging career, or what I need to do competing. So I figured out that what I need to do to get myself, that by the time the World Championships come in the fall, I know what I got to do to win. I know where my dogs need to be, where I have to be, how my throws need to look, how my dogs need to look, conditioning, weight, everything. And I know exactly how to get myself to that point. So at the beginning of the season and partway through the season, even towards the end of our regular season, like I'm putting in way less than my 100% now. I used to try to go out and win every single competition, every single event, and beat everyone at everyone, and all my dogs first, second, third place. I tried to do that. I'm not saying I did, of course, but that was my mentality. Now my mentality is get through the season, and all I'm thinking about right now, before this year's even up, is World Championships next year. That's my only target.
Yeah, that's how I thought too. I mean, that's sort of how I view it too. It's like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter where I place in the regional or the qualifier, as long as I'm in the qualifying status. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Like wherever you finish is wherever you finish, as long as you get in. Right. Otherwise, you got to be driving somewhere else to try to get in. But and we do have a smaller group, and we're lucky that we have a club that it's like, if we have the opportunity to put on multiple events, we will. We try to put on multiple Skyhounds so that, everybody that wants to go can qualify, because it is such a long drive for us. Right. It's kind of like, well, we may as well try to get everybody qualified before we,
it's a huge undertaking.
All embark on our 30+ hour drive one way.
For me, it ends up being just in fuel, thousands of dollars. It's $2,000 probably for oh yeah,
one way.
No, for the whole trip. For the trip.
That's it? I thought it would be way more.
No, a couple $1,000.
$2,000. I thought it was more like $3,000.
Well, it could be actually. Well, the prices are so high now.
Depends on where you gas up.
Oh, like just go to Colorado would be like 2,000. So it's probably
That's
more
what
like
I'm saying.
three.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's usually about $1 a mile, roughly, is what I figure for fuel costs.
Yeah. So, it is a lot, right? But no,
we do
I
for
totally
the doggies.
agree
We love it.
What
And
you're saying. Yeah. So, I mean, my kind of reflection in the same way of the sport is, especially with Sora and what she did this year, she basically has achieved the most world championships a dog could achieve. Well, has achieved. I mean, certainly there's more in the tank, but and maybe some other dog will do that, or maybe Sora will just keep killing it. But for me, I feel like we've made a pretty big mark. And my, the rest of my dogs too, Torch, Flare, they're amazing. And of course, my other dogs are awesome too.
Yeah, it gets difficult when you get to that point where it's like all of my goals.
I feel like I know my
out,
system. Yeah, you've hit your goals.
Right, and
that's kind of where I'm at.
Even obscure goals, and I just started making up weird goals.
That's me. At this point, I'm trying to make up different things, and I that may not be relatable to everybody that's watching. I'm sure a lot of people are they're working on, just trying to achieve some of their
first steps
goals
where we were.
Right. Yeah. So you watching, hey, maybe you'll be sitting in our seats and
you can get it.
Several years. You can get there. It's a lot of work and it's really challenging.
I thought winning a world championship was impossible. And then every time I win one now.
Me too.
And when I win one now, I think, I can't believe we just won a world championship. Even if, no matter what number it is or anything like that, it's like, it still feels impossible to me.
It's kind of like you look difficult. At like some of these really famous people or like pop stars or whatever. I mean, like, okay, when I was, a little girl, I listened to Taylor Swift, and like, I never really thought she'd be like this mega superstar that she is now. She was like, little country girl singing her little country songs, and I'm like, okay, I like that. I don't really like country that much, but I'm like, oh, I like her. And now she's like this mega, mega, mega star. And I think that's just, the beginning of a lot of people's journeys, right? And it's what you make of it.
She's a great example because she changed too. Well, she started out doing this, then she did pop, then she did this.
She did.
And
what's funny? I still like her country, everything. I think, more than her pop, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I hate all of it.
You don't like any of it.
I don't like any of it, but I know what she did. I respect it.
I do like some of her songs. What's funny is that I think if I listen to a lot of, like, if I listen to her music, I think I actually like the old stuff, her country better. And I think what's funny is now I think she's a better singer. I don't think singing was like her talent to begin with. It was her songwriting, and she chose to sing her own songs instead of sell them off, which I think is smart. That's maybe a whole other topic for another day, because I could get on a whole other tangent. But anyway, so she chose to sing her own songs instead of sell them off. And in hindsight, I think that was probably a really good move for her. But in the beginning, I don't know if her voice was really the strongest characteristic of her talents. And now her voice is catching up with her songwriting talents, and she actually can sing much, much better than when she started.
But it makes you wonder, she's probably worth $1 billion or something.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it makes you wonder.
And we play a sport where we're
worth zero.
We're worth $1.24.
So then, yeah. What can her goals be now? I mean, I don't know. I don't really care.
That's what I mean. It's like, so what are her goals, right?
Yeah.
Like you do wonder. It's like, okay, once you've reached up, like, where do you go next? And I think that's one of the reasons we started the podcast, is because we kind of wanted to share our experience in hopes that people would maybe get something positive out of it, or I don't know, people learn something and they can start carving their own path to being one of the best.
I hope it helps people. It helps me when we rehash these things, or just bring, we're talking about things that maybe we haven't thought of in 10, 15 years.
Oh yeah.
It's great to just bring these things back up and talk about them. And sometimes we learn something from each other too, which is crazy because we know each other so well, but we still learn from each other, or learn things about each other. And sometimes after the podcast, guys, we'll be like, you said that, and I don't even remember that. I didn't know that that's how you felt about that, or whatever. And then we talk about it a little more, and then we say,
or we throw back to our first episode, and it's like we tell stories, and we're like, wait, I didn't know that was like, the same inspiration to you that it was to me.
So we'll say, we got to do another podcast in the future about that. So sometimes
it kind of gives us ideas too. So Speaking of ideas, if you want to see anything particular, we have a long list of ideas. I mean, we're never going to run out of stuff to talk about. I mean, obviously, we both don't shut up, especially after 2 full glasses of wine.
Ooh, they were good.
If you have ideas or specific things that you want to hear about, we're happy to yap about it. We seem to be okay at yapping.
Yep. And for people who are only listening, the glasses are both empty, so that's why I said they were good.
Yeah, so that means we got to wrap this up because we got to refill.
And my my one glass here has a doxy on it because I love wiener dogs.
Fun fact: Jeff's got to end up with a wiener dog one day. But anyway, so yeah, I think that was pretty much my reflection is sort of similar to yours. I think I have a lot of injuries as well, and I haven't really found like a good spot of like, I feel like I practice just enough and then it's too much and I'm like, oh crap. And it's more the throwing, it's the toss and fetch throwing more than anything.
You know what's crazy for me?
The freestyle throwing doesn't hurt me.
I learned what exactly is just enough for me. I know.
I thought I knew, and then I did that, and then I re-injured.
Not necessarily getting hurt. To be really successful, I know exactly where I have to be going into the finals.
Oh, I know where I have to be too, and then I try to do that, and then I re-injure myself. So it's like, okay.
Well, I am injured right now. I'm always injured, it seems, but it's not related to my throwing, I guess. But yeah.
No, mine is the muscle that makes the toss and fetch throw go perfectly straight.
I got my toss and fetch figured out.
And it hurts.
So guys, it only takes I've been playing since '98. It only takes 27 years to figure out how to get a throw down.
Yeah, that's it. And I've been playing almost 20 years. 2026 will be 20 years of disc dogging for me. So yeah, that's crazy. We're like the old geezers. I was thinking about that today actually, like how I'm like, are we like the old school players now? Are we the old players? Like part of the old players?
Well, I'm just old. Now? No, you don't even have to put players on. I'm just old now.
I wasn't saying that. But yeah, just because we've been playing for a long time, we're the old geezers. Back in my day,
when I was your age.
Yeah, this is how our podcast is going to.
I'm going to start shaking my fist with the old guy in his yard. Okay, so what is this?
All right, let's wrap it up. This has been the
Disc Dog Pod. Thanks for joining us.
We're never going to get that in sync.
We love the dogs.
Bye, you guys.